On the second Monday of January at the Maracas Municipal Headquarters, the mayor convenes an urgent meeting in the boardroom, a spacious rectangular room with a large pine oval table and high-back executive chairs. Attendees include 1. Mr. Harvester, Municipal Chief Executive Officer. 2. Justice Ian Jaden, Principal Judge 3. Inspector Bemby, Municipal Inspector General of Police. 4. Hunter Ted, Secretary of Health and Environment. 5. Hunter Seymour, Secretary of Planning and Development. 6. Hunter Ramdai, Deputy Mayor. The mayor enters last. The mayor clears his throat and begins speaking.
Honored gentlemen, I thank you all for honoring my call for this emergency meeting. There is a new trend gaining ground in our municipality, which could adversely affect us as leaders. I thought it is prudent that we put our minds together so as to determine a way forward.
The mayor pauses, then continues.
Now, to get to the point, has any one of you read today's newspapers?
They look at one another, swinging their heads in the negative.
Yes, I asked Harvester to buy all of them from the vendors as early as possible.
I did as you instructed, sir.
Why did you have to do that?
It was in our best interest.
The mayor picks the papers before him, one at a time, reading out the headlines aloud.
The Caribbean Watch, Municipal Leadership, a Criminal Enterprise. The Sentinel, Municipal Leaders Stripped Naked. The Insight, Rot in Maracas, Municipal Council Exposed. The Spotlight, Municipal Leaders Face Imprisonment. As you can see, the focus is on us as municipal leaders, and the stories under the headlines are extremely damaging. These are the kind of headlines we've been getting every day for the last 1 month. I singled you out for this meeting because your departments are most affected.
Busy on his mobile phone, and seated with one of his legs hanging on the armrest of his chair.
Are such headlines unusual?
I think these are the usual problems leaders must have with the media from time to time. All we need is give the reporters and the editors more boxes of chocolate.
We can also threaten some of them.
Swinging his head in the negative.
No, gentlemen. I think the problem is not exactly the mainstream media. It is the Samaritan. The Samaritan is the source of all the information in these newspapers.
Still on his mobile phone and without looking up?
The Samaritan?
Scratching his head.
Oh yes, I remember. There is a Samaritan in town.
Who exactly is that?
It is an innovation developed by 2 students, a boy and a girl, at the Sagrada Secondary School. During closing day last year, I was invited to the school to launch the innovation officially in the municipality and present an award to the 2 students who created it. I declined to do so when I figured out the innovation might be a problem for us. It turns out that I was right.
Still on the phone with his leg on the armrest.
Innovation. What kind of innovation?
Turning to Harvester.
I must confess, these internet things are a little bit out of my depth. I believe Harvester can explain it.
Clears his throat.
The Samaritan is a mobile application on which people are posting or sharing any information that they have on the conduct of our municipal affairs. The information is being shared in the form of text, file, picture, or video. The aim of the app is to promote the public good by exposing corruption and other vices in our municipality and agitating for the prosecution of the culprits.
I remember reading about it in the Sentinel, the Caribbean Watch, and the Spotlight a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, the app is the source of all the damaging revelations we have been finding every day in our daily newspapers.
Fiddling with his goatee.
I have also heard about it. I think we just need to have a conversation with those posting the information in that app.
Pointing at Harvester.
What you need to do is to obtain some cash, identify those most active in posting information, and pay them to stop it. That's all.
That may not be possible. The last time I checked, the app had almost 500,000 downloads and still counting. That means there are about 500,000 people using the app. We cannot negotiate with such a huge number of people.
Do you really feel there is cause for alarm, or the media is just doing its normal watchdog job?
It appears to be meticulously researched and the assault by the media carefully choreographed.
Just how serious are the allegations being made?
Well, the latest sensation is the public outcry over companies that bill the municipal council huge sums of money every month without rendering any service. That is supplying air. Details of payments to the companies involved have now been unearthed. They were first divulged on That Evil Thing and then found their way to all newspapers. And the culprits, forgive me for saying this, have been disclosed as you and you.
Springing to his feet
That
with clenched
cannot
fists.
be possible. Nobody can write that kind of thing about me in this world.
Copies of indisputable documentary evidence to that effect were all over today's newspapers and are being shared widely in all social media platforms.
Those are fake documents. These are all barefaced falsehoods. And I can assure you one thing. Those behind the allegations now have their appointment with fate. Certainly.
Sitting properly and looking up for the first time.
Supply of air? I am beginning to think this is serious. Could we end up in Bonetta Express prison?
Turning pages of his notebook.
But that is only one of the allegations. There are many more, including drug trafficking, grabbing of public land, inflation of the costs of municipal projects, use of proxies to secure municipal tenders, undertaking shoddy public works, murder, and gang warfare. The information is very detailed on the people and companies involved.
There is a lot of personal information on municipal leaders on That Evil Thing too, including lifestyles of individual municipal officials, where they live, the kind of houses they live in, their businesses, the vehicles they own, other properties in their possession, when the properties were acquired, and a lot of other personal details I don't want to mention here.
Looking at Bemby.
There was a lot of talk yesterday on the Madingo Golf Club, with everyone wondering where you got the money to put it up.
The Madingo Golf Club? No. I have always been very discreet about my private affairs. How did they get the information it is mine?
You see, there is hardly anything on earth you can do without somebody knowing about it. You should also remember that those we regard as our friends are sometimes wolves in sheep's clothing, and they may have a lot of information about us, which could be damaging.
This might be our worst nightmare.
What worries me most is the recent formation of a lobby group, an amorphous virtual group, comprising mostly of lawyers, calling itself the Samaritans. It is calling upon the people to volunteer as witnesses and help in the prosecution of those involved in corruption and abuse of office in the municipality. They are also planning to petition the local government minister, the Prime Minister, and the Chief Justice to take action. The situation is not pretty at all.
Looking at Justice Jaden.
Can such online allegations form a strong basis for prosecution and conviction?
Yes, they can, provided there are valid documents supporting the allegations.
I think we have no choice other than ban that thing within Maracas municipality. The municipal council needs to pass a bylaw to that effect urgently. I will enforce it immediately.
I think we need to be careful and strategic. On what basis do you ban it? And how can you police the use of mobile phones to ensure the ban is effective?
We can think creatively about that. For example, we can claim that municipal authorities are concerned that suspect apps, particularly spy apps, are finding their way into our municipality. This may lead to the theft of confidential information such as bank account details. We can also cite issues of cyberbullying and the sharing of pornographic materials in schools.
I like that idea. I suggest we issue a circular that no app should be in use in Maracas municipality unless and until it's authorized either by the Prime Minister or the Maracas Municipal Council. Find some justifications for it and formal language to indicate the concerns of the Municipal Council over the proliferation of suspect innovations. Right?
I don't see how that will help. Most likely, the ban will only fuel interest on the app.
We must do it. Information is power, and if we can't control it, we will be in trouble. After a while, my friend also mentioned the idea of getting computer experts to mess up the Samaritan.
Hacking, do you mean?
Exactly.
Turning to Harvester again.
Just write a letter to the official in charge of Information and Communications Technology, ICT, instructing him to put a team together to mess up this thing.
Hacking is a crime, Your Worship.
Find an appropriate way of putting it.
To Harvester.
Yes, you can claim, for example, that some seemingly good apps are actually clever innovations for spying on banks and the confidential documents of the municipal council. The official can do it under the guise of ascertaining whether the apps have spyware.
I fear that will still be criminal, especially in the absence of a legal framework supporting such a course of action.
Turning to Justice Jaden.
We will rely on you should these issues escalate to the courts.
Frowning.
But you see, we have to be strategic. No court on earth will support the malicious destruction of private property.
Looking at Justice Jaden.
We are in this together. You can always figure out a way and the appropriate language for defending such a course of action.
Together? What do you mean we are in this together? In supplying air to the municipal council?
Others look at Justice Jaden.
We all have some skeletons in our closets, Your Lordship. I mean, here and there. We must work together.
What do you mean by skeletons?
Are you saying you have no skeletons at all?
The issue is not if I have skeletons or not. In fact, and as you can see, I am not a reptile. But you see, quite so often in life, what matters is not what you do, but how you do it. You can fly into forbidden territory and still get away with it, provided you do it below the radar.
What's that supposed to mean?
I went to school.
But you are also a target.
Rising to his feet.
Gentlemen, I do not wish to be part of the criminal proposals you are making here. I will pronounce myself on this matter if and when I am directly confronted or cases are brought to my attention in court. You cannot have careless and reckless skeletons all over the place and expect me to help clean up the mess.
There is silence. Mayor Mossy sighs. Seymour leans back on his seat as Justice Jaden exits the boardroom.
Gentlemen, the simple fact is that we are all in danger of prosecution. We have to do something. And urgently.
How about persuading the boy and the girl to drop this matter?
That is not a viable strategy. We can't deal with kids. Unless you mean dealing with those assisting them. I am talking about the ethics and innovation teacher.
How about talking to the principal herself?
We should not appear to be meddling in the affairs of the school. We are better off dealing with the teacher concerned. Remember, the principal has a very strong personality. She is also very protective of her turf.
I have another idea.
All turn to look at him.
Where is this information stored? I mean the information being shared on the Samaritan.
They stare at one another.
You seem to understand these things.
Yes, the information is in what are called servers and is available on the internet.
That's my point. We just get the information out of there.
Pauses. Then he asks.
Where is the internet, and how do you get there?
That line of thinking cannot help us.
I have a solution.
What solution?
Money, 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 and more money.
You mean we give money to the two students and the teacher?
No, mobilize enough money to fight any cases that might be brought up against us and, if necessary, enough for dealing in other ways with those who insist on pursuing us.
Good idea, but I have loans and projects. I don't think I can raise any money now.
I, too, just finished the Madingo Golf Club recently. I am as broke as a church mouse.
I cannot raise a meaningful amount either.
If that is the case, why can't we find a way of averting the court cases from coming up in the first place?
How can we do that?
Restitution.
What's that?
It's an idea that struck me as I was having a walk along the beach yesterday. We can conduct a truth and reconciliation exercise.
How will that work?
We will announce a grace period within which everyone in the municipality should come clean, confess their mistakes. give back what they have acquired irregularly, forgive one another, and then open up a new chapter of honesty in the conduct of our municipal affairs.
Chuckling.
That has never happened anywhere in the world.
I know the truth can set us free.
Isn't restitution an admission of guilt? How can one incriminate myself? And in any case, what if you are accused of crimes other than acquiring wealth irregularly?
I doubt whether restitution is a good idea.
That takes us back to the idea of raising money to fight the cases. We may have to procure loans or sell some of our properties.
Since we all do not have money, why can't we find a way of getting that money from the municipal fund?
Municipal fund? How?
We just need to do some reallocation of budget line items.
I agree. We must set aside some money to take care of investigators, lawyers, prosecutors, and judges if things go wrong.
You see, the waste disposal system in our town is in a terrible state. There is garbage all over the place and the drains are broken. As we speak, it is a serious health hazard. We can justify reallocation of funds on the need to address this problem. In reality, we will use some of the funds to fight off cases that are without a doubt coming.
What?
Yes, we have to get money to fight the cases. And enough of it, I dare say.
But that will only get us deeper into problems.
Yes, it will. But we will be the better armed to deal with the trouble and even more of it.
Over my dead body. What you are suggesting is illegal. The law is very clear. A municipal council cannot spend any money at any time of a financial year except as provided in the national estimates, and as contained in an appropriation act approved by Parliament.
Looking at Mayor Mossy in disbelief.
What do you mean? You would rather we are prosecuted and imprisoned?
In that case, we can submit a supplementary estimate of expenditure. That is allowed under the law.
So long as that money will be committed to other uses, I will be blamed for the misallocation. It will get me into more trouble.
You will be in a position to deal with the trouble, can't you understand? You will have the money.
Pointing at Seymour.
Look here, my good friends. You have in the past forced my hand into misallocating funds by making unreasonable demands.
Which demands?
You cannot now deny that you have forced me to concede to endless demands, ranging from regular travel, with enhanced allowances for members of the municipal council, sitting allowances of unnecessary committee meetings, to loans and mortgages. It is as though all the money allocated to the municipal council is exclusively meant for council members.
Don't start pontificating. You will never get away with the crimes committed under your watch if things get out of hand. And you also know how much you have stolen. So you better be wise. Let's do a supplementary estimate.
I know you very well. I know those things you deal with. If you are not full, I will have you arrested and prosecuted. I can make you see real smoke, and I can strike harder than thunder.
Standing up and charging towards the mayor. Bemby intervenes as the whole party rises to their feet.
Go ahead and have me arrested, but you will either approve a supplementary estimate or we hound you out of office.
Yes. We helped you get elected and we can get rid of you.
Look, you fools. The situation is very bad and we—
Stop being hypocritical. You are the worst.
Interrupting Seymour.
Gentlemen, I think we can find some common ground. We must find money to protect ourselves, but we must also not make matters any worse than they already are.
You senseless thieves. You were elected just the other day as poor and jigger-infested hoodlums. Now you are living like kings in grandiose villas and mansions, indulging in delicacies in classy hotels, and driving state-of-the-art vehicles. How can you justify your current financial status? Who doesn't know you have stolen the money? Did you ever think you will get away with it?
We'll see if you also get away with it. We will mobilize the members of the council chamber against you.
And you will ultimately take responsibility for the rot in the municipality. There is no way you can deliver us to prison.
I warn you, you will soon know that I am the smoke that thunders.